The judge thought her sarcastic remarks would simply humiliate the attorney in the courtroom. But with every jab, the tension grew thicker, and the smile on his face turned increasingly enigmatic. Little did she know the truth about to unfold would shatter her world. And this was just the beginning of the show. The grand courtroom of Westford County was alive with the usual mix of urgency and anticipation. Mahogany benches gleamed under harsh fluorescent lights, while murmurs echoed off the high ceilings as lawyers and spectators settled in. Presiding over the proceedings was Judge Meredith Cole, a 56-year-old veteran of the bench known for her no-nonsense demeanor. With her steel-gray eyes and signature black robe tailored to perfection, she radiated authority and an almost intimidating sharpness. At precisely 9 o'clock a.m., the heavy oak doors opened, and in strode Thomas Grant, a 42-year-old attorney with an undeniable presence. His impeccably tailored charcoal suit and polished Oxfords exuded professionalism. Yet, the real showstopper was the bright red MAGA hat perched confidently atop his head. It wasn't subtle, it was a statement, and everyone in the room knew it. Judge Cole's eyes narrowed, her expression hardening like freshly poured cement. "Mr. Grant," she began, her voice icy, "I hope you're aware that this is a courtroom, not a rally." Thomas stopped mid-stride, tilting his head with a calm smile. "Good morning, Your Honor. I wasn't aware there was a dress code." A ripple of laughter coursed through the gallery, quickly silenced by the sharp crack of the judge's gavel. "The dress code is respect, Mr. Grant," she snapped. Unfazed, Thomas removed the hat with deliberate precision and placed it gently on the table beside him. "Of course, Your Honor, respect is paramount." The case began, but the tension between Judge Cole and Thomas lingered like a storm cloud. Every time Thomas presented an argument, the judge found a reason to interrupt. Her tone was condescending, her judgments unusually swift. The gallery watched, captivated by the unspoken battle unfolding. By the end of the morning session, the air in the courtroom was electric. As the court adjourned for lunch, reporters swarmed Thomas outside. Cameras flashed and microphones crowded his personal space. "Mr. Grant, how do you feel about Judge Cole's criticisms?" one reporter asked. Thomas smiled faintly, his voice calm and composed. "Let's just say it's going to be an interesting day." The courtroom was packed tighter than before as the afternoon session commenced. Word of the morning's tension had spread, drawing spectators curious to witness the drama firsthand. Judge Cole wasted no time reasserting her authority. "Mr. Grant," she began, her voice dripping with sarcasm, "I trust you've had time to reconsider your approach this morning." Thomas stood, his gaze unwavering. "I have, Your Honor, and I believe justice will always prevail." The gallery buzzed with hushed whispers, and Judge Cole's expression tightened. As the case progressed, she seized every opportunity to undermine him. From cutting off his objections to questioning his legal acumen, her bias was glaring. At one point, she turned to the gallery and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this courtroom thrives on professionalism, not theatrics or political grandstanding." The jab landed hard, but Thomas remained calm. His responses were measured, his arguments precise. Despite her relentless interruptions, he methodically dismantled the opposing counsel's case. By late afternoon, the tension was palpable. Every objection, every ruling, every word exchanged between Judge Cole and Thomas felt like a blow in an escalating battle. The gallery watched, spellbound. When the session finally ended, Thomas walked out of the courtroom with his MAGA hat in hand, flanked by reporters desperate for a soundbite. "Do you think the judge is being unfair?" one asked. Thomas paused, his smile cool. "The law is always fair. It's the people interpreting it who need reminding." The next morning, the courtroom was standing room only. Spectators, reporters, and even off-duty attorneys crowded in, eager for the next chapter in the unfolding drama. Judge Cole entered the courtroom, her expression a mask of calm authority. But there was a flicker of tension in her eyes as she looked at Thomas, who sat with his MAGA hat prominently displayed on the table beside him. The proceedings began as expected, with Judge Cole maintaining her thinly veiled disdain for Thomas. But midway through the session, the double doors at the back of the courtroom swung open. 2 men in dark suits entered, their movements deliberate and purposeful. "Your Honor," one of them said, approaching the bench with an envelope, "we have an official notice from the Attorney General's office." The gallery fell silent, all eyes on Judge Cole as she opened the envelope. Her face paled, and her hands trembled slightly as she read the letter. She glanced up at Thomas, her steely composure cracking under the weight of realization. Thomas rose slowly, adjusting his tie. His voice was calm, but carried an undeniable authority. "Your Honor," he began, his words deliberate, "allow me to formally introduce myself. Thomas Grant, recently appointed Attorney General of the United States." Gasps rippled through the gallery as whispers of disbelief filled the room. Judge Cole's gavel struck repeatedly, but the chaos refused to subside. Thomas stepped forward, his gaze steady. "Justice isn't about appearances or personal biases, Your Honor. It's about fairness and integrity." Judge Cole sat frozen, her once commanding presence reduced to silence. As the courtroom emptied, the headlines practically wrote themselves. "Judge versus Attorney General, a lesson in bias." Thomas walked out, his MAGA hat in hand, a calm smile on his face. The fight for justice had only just begun. What would you do if you were in Thomas Grant's shoes? Do you think he handled the situation well, or would you have approached it differently? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you or someone you know faced similar situations where bias or prejudice was at play? Let's discuss. Don't forget to like and share this story to spread awareness. Stories like these are created to highlight important issues, spark conversations, and inspire change for a better and fairer world. Your opinion matters. Together, we can make a difference.